What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm here with
Gersh1.
And once again, we're back at it answering questions from you guys in another episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. We've been answering questions since probably 2014.
That's a long time.
So if you guys have anything that you would like to know about Warhammer 40K, we've been playing Warhammer 40K for longer.
However, today we want to say that all these questions really do hit us home in our hearts because today we're doing yet another weekly giveaway. We just want to say thank you for all our viewers, all our commenters, all our subscribers, all our Patreon supporters, that we really appreciate each and every one of you guys. You're the reason why we keep on doing this, and to show you that, today we have a awesome prize for you guys.
Yes, if you want to win a... Land Raider Redeemer / what's the other one?
You can do like 3 different variants on there.
Yeah, it's the Redeemer, the Crusader, and the Redentor. I don't know if that's still a thing.
But Land Raider nonetheless is pretty spicy.
So if you want to win that, all you have to do is be a Patreon supporter. The reason we are thanking our patrons is because they've been supporting us since the beginning of One Mind Syndicate. We're on a completely different channel now. We are focusing solely on just the Q&A with you and us talking about it. So if you guys want to win the Land Raider, all you have to do is be a Patreon supporter. We announced the winner for the last week's starter set winner. So if you want to support us, just hit us up on Patreon, and yeah.
And also, the more you support, the more chances of you getting picked. So basically, $1 counts as 1 ticket in the raffle. So obviously, if you support us with $4, that's 4 tickets into it. So your chances get a little bit better the more you support. But again, we appreciate you guys just watching and just, sharing the might that is One Mind Syndicate and the Greater Wall.
Yeah. And we want to say thank you guys so much for supporting us that way, just because we're not monetized. So you guys are not seeing any ads on these videos. That's because this is a new channel. We're building it up from the ground. And just to answer your guys' questions, which means that this question comes from Captain Nemo. He asks, should GW fully embrace humanity as the protagonists? As if they haven't done so already.
Yeah, they've been doing this from the start. Even way back when it wasn't even called Warhammer 40K, it was called Rogue Trader. It's always been in the eyes of humanity or some type of imperial-centered faction.
Yeah, I think when you say Rogue Trader, it also makes me think of, what's that old, Space Jumanji? What's it called?
Space Jumanji?
Yeah. Sathora?
Oh, Zathura or whatever?
Yeah, that's what it makes me think of. And I think that's what Games Workshop was trying to go with. Of what if you took you and put you in space with orcs and Eldar and basically everything that Tolkien created, but just sci-fi? What would that be like? Mutants. There's a shit ton of mutants back then.
Yeah.
And Games Workshop created that because, yeah, it's you. The whole point of Warhammer 40K and tabletop war game is to put a person in the role of a general.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why D&D is so popular, because it's essentially you, or at least your persona, in the whole universe of fantasy and sci-fi and all that. And I think that really resonates with a lot of war gamers. Or even if you're taking a step back and you're looking at 40K, you're essentially the general putting your army, your forces on the line, and you're fighting against somebody else tactically.
Yeah. So the reason that Warhammer 40K is so human-centric is because it's of us. We are the main character in these games that we play. Whether we're playing Orcs, Eldar, or Tau, at the end of the day, I feel like we need to represent ourselves in the thing. So should GW continue that? Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the sales, it's mostly Space Marines. I don't know too many places where there is not a single Space Marine player. So yeah, definitely GW is going to keep on doing it. Now, it would be interesting to see how far GW would have gone if they centered on a Xeno faction.
Yeah.
Because one of the first games I remember playing was Fire Warrior.
Yeah.
And that was all Tau centered. And the game, it was all right. I mean, it was clunky. It was like back in the PS2 era.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like Space Marine 2, or if they do any other Space Marine game, it wouldn't be called that, but it'd be interesting to see it in the eyes of like an Eldar or an Orc or something like that.
Yeah, but I think it's also important to look at what Games Workshop is doing now with their IP. So they're venturing into creating more cinematic universes. When you look at Star Wars, do you really care about the Rancor? Do you really care about, like, I don't know, what's another Xeno race from Star Wars?
The what's his name? Watto? I don't even know what he's called.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a very small minority of individuals that actually care. So Games Workshop, as they venture into more cinematic universe style, like movies, TV shows, and that kind of stuff, they should focus on humanity because that's what sells.
Right.
You want to see yourself.
And like going back to the Star Wars thing, I feel like everybody wants to know more about the Jedi and all this stuff. Because like whenever you get a series where there's no Jedi, I feel like it doesn't do so well. Except for Andor. Andor was like really great.
But even Andor is like focused on humanity, right? 'Cause,
Yeah.
like the dude
Yeah.
from what's his name? Well, that guy. He's a Mexican actor too.
Diego
so,
Luna.
Yeah.
Then you got Mandalorian, which
Yeah.
is Jedi-esque. They're Mandalorians.
He's from Chile.
They get a lightsaber.
Yeah. But the point is that like it's always a human centric, so you want to see yourself in the role of a rogue trader, a space marine, or that kind of thing.
Yeah, even if they don't focus on Space Marines right away, I feel like they should include the Space Marines so you could see the contrast of what it's like to see a rogue trader fight versus like the badassness of seeing a Space Marine fight.
What's interesting about Games Workshop is that if they really wanted to focus on a cinematic universe that attracts a big audience, and we know that the Western world wants to tap into the Eastern market, which is like China, because that's a big one, why not focus on Jagatai Khan?
Yeah.
Like Games Workshop should really focus on making the White Scars badass.
Definitely, because like I'm trying to think of all the animations, and I don't remember seeing any White Scars at all. You've got your Salamanders, your Ultramarines, you've got what else? I can't even think of anybody that uses vehicles to that extent.
No, and I think vehicles are really cool because like whenever I describe what I like my hobby, right? Like the Warhammer 40K hobby, I always tell people, you know, like those guys on TV that work on like train models and stuff like that in their basement. That's kind of what I do, but just in sci-fi world. Think of like locomotives and vehicles, and you think of like the Impulsor. You think of the fucking, what are the little bikes called?
Outriders, yep.
Yeah. So like it's one of those things where it's like I think it's within us, within our core of what it means to be a war gamer. There is a nugget of like we just like vehicles. We like building vehicles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So why not focus on White Scars? But
And it's funny when you brought up the whole everybody plays vehicles. Like that's one of the things when we play like Crusade or any type of game where it's like, oh, you want to take the one where it's like if you kill a vehicle, you get more points.
yeah.
Because we all got vehicles in our armies.
Yeah, they're a necessity.
Yeah.
So Games Workshop should really focus on that.
Yeah, whether it's a dreadnought, a tank, like that's just so badass. How can you say no to a vehicle?
And did we see that in Secret Wars? No.
We see, what are they? They're on bikes, the cultist dudes.
The cultist dudes. But like what was cool about it is like they bulldoze through bikes and stuff like that, but they
There was a
focus on
car,
demons.
wasn't there too?
Oh yeah.
Or was it a tank? No, it
think
was a car, right?
I think it was a looted Land Raider, which you could win. But yeah.
This next question comes from Marisa Rios. Can Space Marines remove their armor? Hey now. Yes, they can.
Yeah. That's an old school question, but yeah. Space Marines have Black Carapace, which is basically a gene seed organ implanted to them so that part of their uniform or part of their armor is built within their skin.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard to... I don't remember if it's a... Yes, the corn... Oh, what are they called? There's 3 of them.
Corn for skin?
Yeah, they're like berserkers, but they're like half possessed. Oh man, why am I blanking on what they're called? But anyway, there's a unit in the Corn line, the World Eaters, where you could see these guys and they have like their armor ripped off, and you see like the, what are they called? Little circle things?
Yeah, the little like where
the armor plates would like snap in. You could even see that on like Magnus and Angron if you don't put the armor pieces on. Studs, I guess.
Yeah,
they got
studs.
like little studs on their shoulders and their chest where like the armor would normally go on there. So you could actually see bits and pieces of it, which is interesting that it's all on the chaos side. But like Dark Angels, they remove their armor and put on robes. There's actually like artwork of, I believe it is Dante from the Blood Angels without his armor on. And even in like the Horus Heresy novels, there are times where like you would see a Space Marine cleaning his armor, or like a Space Marine going into like the dueling pits without his armor on. So yeah, they do remove the armor.
Yeah, and that's a big thing in the current cinematic stuff that Games Workshop is posting, because I think one of the most popular one was a Space Marine getting suited up.
Yeah, that was like 2-3 years now.
Yeah, he's walking naked, and then he gets like the carapace put onto him, and then the armor and stuff like that. So it's a whole ordeal.
Yes.
Good question though. Next one. We have one from Alec Bach. Is the game becoming too hopeful or heroic? I feel that since Gilliman returned, the Imperium is less dystopian.
100%. So you have the term being thrown around of hero hammer, where it's all just named characters doing their thing, and it's kind of taken away from the hopelessness of the whole Grimdarkness of 40K. Gilliman coming back, the Lion coming back, all these named characters like Dante, Azrael, like they're all basically invulnerable.
Yeah.
Since you know they're a named character, the chances of them dying goes away. So like the stakes are kind of lowered when that happens. And I feel like that does take away from like the hopelessness of it.
Yeah. I wonder though, back in the day, so because like the whole main thing of Warhammer 40K is you get to kit bash and create your own custom like characters and stuff like that. So I wonder if by having a more hopeful future, you feel more confident in creating your own homebrew lore, because you know it's going to continue. Whereas like if you have an old school model, like I don't know, what's the Space Wolf dude, the Ragnar?
Oh, Ragnar Blackman.
Yeah. If you're playing him and you kind of know like, oh, he's going to die eventually, if that kind of helps. So yeah, like I wonder if the reason that the Grimdarkness is going away is because Games Workshop wants you to feel more hopeful about the future of your characters that you build.
But at the same time, that's kind of what happened with the Firstborn versus the Primaris.
They went away?
Yeah, slowly, and there's still little inklings of them there, but like Ragnar Blackmane, I can't use his original sculpt. He's a Primaris now.
Yeah, true. So who knows?
Yeah, maybe it's just the making everything up to scale, making everything seem more, I don't know, because I feel like every like cinematic thing, or at least movies and stuff like that, the hero never dies, at least like in Western media. So I think they're trying to, if they do want to make movies and shows and stuff like that, they should keep like their named characters as heroes, and like the good guy wins at the end, when like it's 40K. There's supposed to be no good guys. Everybody's kind of shitty.
Yeah, because when you also say like the hero aspect, you think of The Rock, which is super played out and basic and annoying.
Yeah, I was thinking of like Marvel with the superheroes like that.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like you want some type of dynamic where there's flaw in your character that you are playing, whether it's your homebrew or not. Like you don't want The Rock character who supposedly can never lose a fight in any of his movies.
Which, when you do hear homebrew stuff where, oh, my chapter master took on Angron and won.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah. But yeah. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for listening and hanging out with us. And we'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah. Don't forget to head on over to Patreon for your chance to win a Land Raider. And as always, thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. This has been The Sound Alchemist.
First one.
And we are out.